also have an idea of what they want. They pursue what they want. Is this something I could do, right? This sort of thinking is part and parcel of being able to dream. You want to dream about what it is that has possibilities. If you lose your dreams, you lose a lot of the incentive to do things. And the surprising thing also is that by having dreams, you're bringing that into your life. Dreaming is another way in order to let the universe know what you want. So kids are doing this automatically when they're young. We forget about it as we grow older because we don't realize that the universe is working with us. And if we do, we can learn that being part of a kid is this as well, bringing our dreams into fruition. Imagine dreaming something and having it come true. Kids know all about that. And there's no bigger high than that. So I think having a dream in the first place is important. So dream on, but be realistic in some avenues, like where your safety is concerned, or, other things like that, so that what your dream creates is something that you can actually use and that's important to you. And if you find that your dream doesn't necessarily emerge the way you wanted it to, don't stop. Keep looking and seek elsewhere, find something else that intrigues you. There's no limit. There's just no limit to possibilities out there. You just have to consider that there's another way to look at something, another way to get something, another way to find something. Okay? And as long as your mind is open, you'll be amazed what will emerge. This is another thing that kids do, and that is they tell the truth. It isn't till they get much older as a kid, where they learn to lie because they've been taught that by telling the truth, they could get in trouble, or other kids are telling them not to tell the truth for their reasons and so forth. But basically, most kids, when they start out with anything that they're planning on doing, they tell the truth. And and that is because that's the way they see it. They're being genuine. So there's nothing wrong with being genuine. There are going to be people who misunderstand, and there are going to be times when you get older that you realize that it's not appropriate to say something. But there are ways to say things that where it is still true, but perhaps you're protecting yourself somewhat because it's necessary. You have to make it appropriate. But the thought is there. Why can't you be honest? Because if you can't be honest, there's something you're hiding even from yourself. And that should be a clue that maybe you better adjust something there because it's not helping you. And the whole point is to have a life that's peaceful and easy to live because you're being genuine. So bear that in mind. Part of telling the truth, if you're a kid, is stating the obvious. How many times have you heard your little one say something that, yeah, because you've learned, right? But they're just stating a fact. This is that or that is that. Sometimes they'll say things that we don't consider appropriate because it might hurt somebody's feelings, or we have learned as adults that sometimes it's not a good idea to say things out loud that might be offensive to somebody. But with kids, they're not saying it to be offensive. And the intention is not to hurt. That they're just stating a fact. So I think if you can nurture that inside yourself and learn to be diplomatic, and that's an art, believe me, then I think that you will enhance your own life because you're not having to remember lies and you're not living a lie. You're living in your own truth, and that will give you a lot of pleasure. You're being your own best person, right? Because you don't have to lie, and that's what you're reaching for. Another thing about being a kid is that you don't feel you have to hide your feelings. And that's one to consider, isn't it? When was it you started hiding your feelings? Really, when you think about it, your feelings are given to you for a reason. And to a certain extent, you have to protect other people. That's understood. But at the same time, you have to find your own way, and that includes your own truth. So this is important for your own development. When you hide your feelings, what you're really doing is pressing them down, pretending they're not there. And that's something that you learn and end up holding on to for years and years. And all that does is push you away from obtaining what you really want. So even though there are times in our lives when maybe we can't express what we want to say, allow yourself to let it out. It may be not right at the moment, but allow yourself to let that out because it will sit there just like a very real thing in your body, like a weight. You want to get rid of that. You don't want it sitting there. You don't want to suffer. So follow your own truth. This is what it's all about. Don't be afraid to show your feelings. Because when the time comes where it's important to show your feelings, you may have forgotten that's what you wanted at one time. That's the sort of person you are, and that's what attracts you and all of that. And if you've forgotten all that, how can you show that person? For example, if you love somebody and you've forgotten how to do that because you're so bitter, be who you really are, that little kid that was always happy with things and saw the best in things. You're going to be a happier person for it. Okay, I've taken up a lot of your time. Always enjoy our little visits. You take care of yourself, and I'll come and talk to you again. And thank you for watching my videos. Please subscribe. I love doing it. It's almost therapeutic for me. And I genuinely feel like I'm passing on something that matters to me, and I hope it does to you too. Okay, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.